Hey everyone, let's look at number 3 in section 2.5. We're going to evaluate the limit if it exists, and this is the limit that we're given. First thing you want to do is just plug in x equal 11 into these expressions. If we get a real number, that means that for this function, it's continuous at x equal 11, and we can just evaluate the limit directly. However, of course, when we plug in, we get the form 0 divided by 0, which is not a real number, and it's what we call the indeterminate form. So that doesn't mean the limit does not exist. Essentially, if we graph this function, what we're going to see is there's a hole in the graph at x equal 11, but the graph is approaching that hole, right? So I don't know exactly what the graph of this function looks like, but as we get close to 11, from both sides, there's going to be a hole in the graph, whatever the graph looks like. We're getting closer and closer to that hole. So how do we find the y coordinates of that hole algebraically? Well, we're going to do that by factoring. So this expression then is equal to the limit as x approaches 11. Up top, I'll factor. Notice there's a GCF of 2. I can factor out the greatest common factor of 2, which leaves x squared minus 3x. 2 factored from 176 is 88. The bottom, I hope you recognize as the difference of squares. 121 is 11 squared, so that will factor, right, x plus 11 times x minus 11. And you can FOIL that out just to check, right, as you're going. Make sure you do that. Also, I'm confident since I plugged in 11 and got 0 in the denominator, I know there's a factor of x minus 11 down there. Well, same thing up top. There has to be a factor of x minus 11. And that will help you actually factor this expression, right? Since coefficient of x squared is 1, I know it factors as the 2's out here, x times x, but I know one of these factors has to be x minus 11. And since I've got negative 88, this has to be plus 8. And just double check that the outer and inner of this combine to negative 3x. The outer is x times 8, which is 8x. The inner is negative 11 times x, which is negative 11x. Negative 11x plus 8x, that is negative 3x. So just check those things carefully. Now you see this common factor of x minus 11. I can now divide the numerator and denominator by x minus 11, and I'm just left with this. And this is continuous at 11. I can plug in directly x equal 11. I get 38 divided by 22, or 19/11 if I simplify by dividing numerator and denominator by 2. So this would be your final result. Don't forget that you can check these limits numerically to confirm, right? If you're doing this on the test, you need to show all the work. It's possible to make a mistake for sure, but you can check your work. So please do that. Okay, I hope this is helpful for you. If you have questions, let